Good morning, my crafty friend. Good morning and welcome to another episode of ABC April 2025, where I create every morning a junk journal tag while reflecting for 15 minutes on a word of the day that is positive for our mental health and well-being. And today it is the word kindness, because we are today crafting with the letter K. And one part of my inspiration for today were these whimsical little houses here, these villages. And I thought I would like to use one of them in my junk journal tag for today to inspire me and to reflect a little bit on kindness. Like, I don't know why kindness and little villages go so nicely together for me, but maybe like everyone knows everyone and neighbors look after each other. And yes, when I reflect on kindness, like kindness is for me the simplest way to make the world a little bit brighter. Like, it's this ripple effect that starts with one small act. And I've learned that kindness doesn't have to be grand. Like, it's the little things that make someone's day. Like, if you help the neighbor to bring in the groceries, if it's an elderly neighbor, or to exchange like produce from your garden or something like that. Sometimes it's just a smile or comforting a friend or volunteering to help with something that needs doing. For today, what I also thought about, I read one of the comments from one of the episodes last week. In one of the episodes, I made a fairy tale based on the tag that I had crafted for the day. And I got positive feedback for that someone said, like, I so enjoyed your fairy tale and I would love to hear another one. And so I thought, I give it a go. Like, for today's tag, I will try to make another fairy tale and see what you think about it. But first, let's have a look. Like always with the tags, I like to stamp the word of the day. And as I said, today it's the word kindness. And I always stamp it on a coffee-dyed piece of paper and then go around, cut it out and go around it with Distress Oxide ink. But today I also would like to include some of these stickers from my sticker book. Like, let's have a look here. Like, oh, they are all so cute, like this. But I think like the moon and the star will fit nicely, and maybe like a little bird or something. Like, I can look later, but I also would like to use some of my handmade labels for the background, because I think that works with the story. So, if you're ready, grab a cup of tea or coffee, lean back and enjoy the fairy tale. Once upon a curl of land between the hills of Larkmere and the banks of the Singing Brook, there rested a tiny village called Whimbleton Hollow. It was the sort of place you'd only find if you gotten a little lost on purpose, or if your heart was aching gently for beauty. The houses in Whimbleton Hollow looked as though they had been painted by a troop of daydreamers. Roofs tipped like teapots and windows winked like secrets. The homes bloomed in hues of blue, red and white, with the occasional splash of sunshine yellow or orange marmalade. Flower boxes spilled over with laughing daisies and forgot-me-nots. Painted shutters carried motifs of birds, moons, patchwork hearts, and once famously a dancing tulip. But one house, tucked just behind the crooked village square, had something the others did not. A blue and brown wooden panel wall, weathered with time and mystery. It belonged to a soft-spoken woman named Cecil Norrie, known to everyone simply as Miss Cecil. Miss Cecil was not young and not old either. She wore long skirts with ink stains on the hems and had wild curls, held back by ribbons she often forgot she was wearing. No one in Whimbleton Hollow could quite explain what she did for a living, but her house always smelled of glue, old paper, lavender and imagination. Miss Cecil was a junk journaler, though the village didn't know that word at first. To them, she was the woman who wandered the countryside, collecting bits of nothing and turned them into something. Scraps of wallpaper, ticket stubs from old fairs, broken brooches, snippets of lace, buttons from forgotten coats, all of it found a home inside her dozens of hand-bound journals, each one whispering a story. Each week, she'd leave one open by her front gate, pinned beneath a smooth river stone. Villagers would pause as they passed, flipping through its pages. Sometimes they found a poem, sometimes a tiny paper envelope with a pressed violet inside. Once a drawing of Old Man Barrick dancing at the Harvest Festival with a smile broader than any had seen in years. But most curiously of all, the blue-brown wall outside her home had begun to change. Slowly, delicately, tiny handmade pages appeared across it, collaged and stitched, pinned and pasted like the wall itself was a living junk journal. It began with a paper bird, then a little note, "For you heavy days, breathe like the trees." Then a pocket holding a folded map of the stars marked with the heart-shaped constellations. No one ever saw her add to the wall, but villagers began leaving their own bits. A child's drawing, a thank you note, a photograph of a beloved dog, and even a broken charm necklace once worn by the Major's late wife. The wall became a place where the villagers came not just to look but to feel, to remember, to heal. They called it the kindness wall. And soon something even more magical happened. When someone was having a sorrowful day, they would find a message stitched just for them on the wall, though no one ever saw what was happening. Who placed it? Some things don't need to be fixed, one note said. They just need to be held with gentleness. Another read, "You are more loved than your mind lets you believe." Miss Thistle only smiled when asked. "Kindness," she said once, placing a tag with a tiny heart into a child's mitten, "is the art of leaving little lights where others can find them." And as seasons passed, the wall bloomed. It grew layers like the rings of a wise old tree. Pages turned with the wind, kindness stitched into its every bones. Visitors from other towns began to arrive, not to gape or to make photos, but to add something. A piece of their story, a hope, a hurt, a little folded wish. And Whimbleton Hollow, once a quiet patch of color in the hills, became known as the village that journaled together. They say if your heart is too full or too empty and you find yourself near the bend in the road between Larkmere and the Singing Brook, follow the sounds of laughter. Look for the houses like teapots and a wall the color of thunderclouds and walnut bark. There kindness waits, stitched in threads, glued in layers, and tucked into tiny pockets of paper, ready to remind you, you are never too broken to make something beautiful. And so Whimbleton Hollow lived quietly, kindly, and creatively ever after. That brings us to the end of this little fairy tale, but not quite the end of my take for today. think I would like to add more of these little snippets to really decorate it and like symbolize the wall of kindness, all the little messages the villagers left for each other. And I was talking about little messages that the villagers left. I so appreciate the little messages that you leave me in the comments. I am so impressed by the support and kindness of our junk journal community. Like, you guys are really the best. It's like there's so much encouragement from your side that I really appreciated over the last year. Like, so thank you so much, and I hope you keep on watching and keep on leaving me little comments. Like, if you like to do this below this, like, let me know, like, what kind of act of kindness could you do today to make the world a little bit of a brighter place. But here, can you see this little birdie? I spoke about it in the little fairy tale, and I thought I would like to include this here in the junk journal tag and make it nice, make it cute. Yeah. Okay. Let me have a look. Yep, I think it works nicely together. But yes, as I said, let me know in the comments what you think about it. So, left to finish the tag is to punch a little hole at the top and maybe see if I can find a fitting ribbon to decorate it. But first, to go with the Distress Oxide ink around, because it always finishes off our text so nicely, and I need to cut the corners from the house here so to make it really fitting, and then go around with the Distress Oxide ink to finish off the tag. And take the time to really revel in the idea of kindness and what I can do today to bring a little bit more kindness into the present moment, into this present day. So, what kind of ribbon would I like? Maybe first pressing down all the little bits and pieces. Let me see. Lace is always nice, I find, with this rustic look to make it a little bit softer. But what also I always like is my cheesecloth. And I think you might know this as well. Like, it's so, cheesecloth goes with everything. It like junk journal and cheesecloths like go hand in hand. And I coffee dyed this one, and just to cut off like a lengthy piece and then just put it through my punched hole and tie a knot on the top. And I think it works so nicely together. Yes. I really enjoy my mornings to sit here and start the day with some creativity, like not to just jump out of bed, have breakfast and start my working day, but actually allow a little bit of time to allow creativity. What do you think? Do you like it? Maybe when we look at the tag, let's remember together, kindness costs nothing but means everything, and we can share kindness freely today. So with that in mind, I wish you a beautiful day, and bye for now.